Throughout our coverage, we've explored a range of crimes, from fraud to assault to DUI. However, today's focus is on a crime that shocked us all: Adrian Peterson's child abuse case. This incident not only turned his fans against him, but also tarnished his once shining NFL career, leaving it in ruins. Peterson was born in Palestine, Texas, to Benita Brown and Nelson Peterson, both accomplished athletes in college. His father played basketball at Idaho State until an accident ended his NBA hopes. His mother excelled in track at Westwood High School and later at the University of Houston. At age 7, Peterson tragically lost his 9-year-old brother Brian in a bicycle accident caused by a drunk driver. This loss prompted Peterson to turn to sports, particularly football, as a way to cope with his grief. His father also coached him during his youth football days in East Texas. When Peterson was 13, his father faced legal trouble and was arrested for involvement in a crack cocaine ring. Peterson excelled in 3 sports: football, basketball, and track at Palestine High School. Football became his standout sport during his junior and senior years, where he made a significant impact. In his junior season, he gained 2,051 yards, with an average of 8.3 yards per carry, and scored 22 touchdowns. His performance attracted attention from college recruiters across the country. As a senior in 2003, Peterson rushed for an impressive 2,960 yards, averaging 11.7 yards per carry, and scored 32 touchdowns. His skills were so admired that opponents even asked for his autograph after games. There was speculation at the time about whether a high school player like Peterson could potentially bypass college and go directly to the NFL, especially after legal challenges like Maurice Claret's case against the league's age rules. Peterson was highly regarded as a 5-star recruit by Rivals.com and Scout.com. He was ranked as the best running back and overall prospect in the class of 2004 by Rivals.com. Schools like Texas, Texas A&M, UCLA, Arkansas, and Miami were interested in him. He wanted to join a college where he could make a big impact and potentially win a national championship, so he narrowed his choices down to USC and Oklahoma. At the U.S. Army All-American Bowl, he played exceptionally well, leading the West team with 95 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns. He announced his decision to attend the University of Oklahoma during the game. After his stellar senior season, he earned the Hall Trophy as the U.S. Army National Player of the Year and was recognized as the top high school player by College Football News and Rivals.com. Peterson went to the University of Oklahoma and played for Coach Bob Stoops from 2004 to 2006. In his first year, he set many records for freshman rushers in NCAA history, running for 1,125 yards and leading the nation with 339 carries. He started the season with 9 straight games of over 100 rushing yards, including big games against teams like Texas and Nebraska. Despite dislocating his shoulder during one game, he still managed to run for over 100 yards in 9 games straight. He finished the season with 11 games of over 100 yards rushing, breaking the NCAA record for freshmen. Peterson helped Oklahoma have a perfect regular season and played in the BCS National Championship game against USC Trojans, but USC limited him to 82 yards in a game they won 55-19. After the season, he had surgery on his shoulder to make it stronger. During the 2005 season, Peterson dealt with a broken foot that limited his playing time. He started with a strong game against TCU, scoring a rushing touchdown, but ended in a 17-10 loss. In the next match against Tulsa, he had a standout performance with 220 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in a 31-15 win. However, he injured his ankle in the first Big 12 game against Kansas State, causing him to miss parts of 4 games. Despite these setbacks, Peterson still managed to rush for 208 yards and 14 touchdowns on 220 carries, ranking second in the Big 12 in rushing yards. One highlight was an 84-yard touchdown run, the longest of his career, in a 42-14 victory over Oklahoma State. Oklahoma ended the season with an 8-4 record, their worst since 1999. Peterson was recognized with a spot on the All-Big 12 Conference team at the season's end. In the 2006 season, Peterson started strong, averaging over 150 yards per game and scoring 9 touchdowns in 5 games. His father, Nelson, who had been released from prison, watched him play for the first time on October 14th against Iowa State, where Peterson broke his collarbone diving into the end zone for a 53-yard touchdown. Doctors expected him to be out for 4-6 weeks. At the time of his injury, Peterson was close to becoming Oklahoma's all-time leading rusher, needing just 150 more yards to surpass Billy Sims. Peterson missed the rest of the regular season, but returned for the 2007 Fiesta Bowl against Boise State, where he rushed for 77 yards and a touchdown in a close 43-42 overtime loss. He ended his college career with 1,012 rushing yards in his final season, totaling 4,045 yards over 3 seasons. He finished third in school history, 73 yards shy of breaking Billy Sims' rushing record. On January 15, 2007, Peterson announced he would skip his senior year of college to join the 2007 NFL Draft. Known for his rare mix of speed, strength, and vision, he drew comparisons to legendary NFL runners like Eric Dickerson and Walter Payton. Concerns about his college injuries were noted as NFL teams evaluated him. He was selected 7th overall by the Minnesota Vikings and signed a $40.5 million contract. In his rookie season, Peterson quickly made an impact, aiming for NFL Rookie of the Year and a 1,341-yard rushing goal. He began with a strong debut, rushing for over 100 yards in his first game and winning multiple Rookie of the Month awards. His breakout game came against the Chicago Bears with 3 touchdowns and a franchise record 224 rushing yards. Weeks later, he set a new NFL single-game rushing record with 296 yards against the San Diego Chargers, earning his second Offensive Player of the Week award. Despite an injury setback, he finished the season with 1,341 rushing yards and made the Pro Bowl, also winning the Pro Bowl MVP, a first for a Riseby in 94-4. Peterson began the 2008 season aiming for a 2,000-yard rushing mark and the NFL MVP title. Despite concerns about his durability and defenses focusing on him, he had a standout year. He played all 16 games, starting 15, and rushed for 1,160 yards, with 10 games over 100 yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. He led the league in rushing, ranking 3rd in history for second-year players behind Eric Dickerson and Chris Johnson. Peterson received the Burt Bell Award for his performance and was named to his second AP All-Pro team. The Vikings reached the playoffs but lost in the wild card round despite Peterson's strong showing. In 2009, Peterson started strong again, gaining 917 yards by Week 10 with the arrival of quarterback Brett Favre. He finished the season with 1,383 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, along with career-high receiving stats. Despite a strong playoff run, the Vikings lost in the NFC Championship. The following year, Peterson continued his success with 1,298 yards and led the league in rushing touchdowns. He had only 1 fumble all season and made the Pro Bowl despite the Vikings missing the playoffs. Peterson signed a record-breaking contract in 2011, but suffered injuries including a torn ACL and MCL in Week 16, ending his season early. In 2012, Peterson returned from injury with a remarkable season. He rushed for 2,097 yards, falling just short of Eric Dickerson's single-season record, and led the Vikings to the playoffs. He was named NFL MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, and earned his 5th Pro Bowl selection. His season was considered one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history after recovering from a severe knee injury. In 2013, Peterson began with a memorable 78-yard touchdown run, but faced challenges early on. His season took a tragic turn when his son passed away due to injuries from an assault. Despite the emotional turmoil, he returned to play and achieved notable games, including 211 rushing yards against the Bears. Peterson finished the season with 1,166 yards and 10 touchdowns in 14 games, earning his 6th Pro Bowl selection. The following year, he faced legal issues related to child abuse allegations, leading to a suspension for the entire 2014 season after accepting a plea deal. Peterson returned in 2015, rushing for 1,485 yards and 11 touchdowns, leading the league in rushing and earning All-Pro honors. He played another season with the Vikings in 2016, but was sidelined by a knee injury, playing only 3 games. The Vikings did not renew his contract after the season, ending his decade-long tenure with the team as their all-time leading rusher. Peterson joined the Washington Redskins in 2018 and had a standout season, rushing for over 1,000 yards at age 33, making history as one of the oldest players to do so. He signed a 2-year extension the following year, but was released in 2020. He then signed with the Detroit Lions, where he played a significant role, scoring multiple touchdowns and finishing the season with over 600 rushing yards. After stints with multiple teams in 2021, including the Titans and Seahawks, Peterson became a free agent in January 2022. Despite expressing interest in playing another season, he did not sign with any team for the 2023 NFL season and did not play, leaving his future in professional football uncertain. Now, speaking of his reckless crime, on September 12, 2014, Peterson was formally accused by a grand jury in Montgomery County, Texas, for causing reckless or negligent injury to his 4-year-old son in Spring, Texas, using a wooden implement. The case alleged Peterson used a tree branch to repeatedly strike his son on various parts of the body, resulting in visible wounds. Following the indictment, Peterson was suspended for 1 game by the Vikings. He later pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge of recklessly assaulting his son on November 4, 2014, avoiding jail time through a plea agreement that placed him on probation, fined him $4,000, and required him to complete 80 hours of community service. This incident led to Peterson's suspension from the NFL for the remainder of the 2014 season, with appeals upholding the decision until at least spring 2015. Later legal disputes and financial troubles, including defaulted loans and court-ordered repayments, have further complicated Peterson's career and personal finances. That act was deeply disturbing and appalling, understandably causing his fans to turn against him. We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment telling us who to cover next.